My essential question is how has literature changed and influenced Thai culture throughout time? While developing my essential question, there was many factors that contributed to eventually choosing it. First of all, I have a general interest towards literature and seeing how it has impacted who people are. I know that throughout my life, there's books that have changed the way that I think. After traveling to Thailand, I realized through the images on the temple walls, within crafts and even furniture that had depictions of tales from the Ramayana on them, that was a very important part of who they are. Well-written literature has a powerful influence over people, and after learning about the Ramayana in class upon returning, I became completely confident with my essential question choice. This one work of literature has had such a big influence on so many people throughout the world, and I knew I had to begin to understand why. Some of my first questions revolved around how the Ramayana has impacted the character of people, especially youth culture. I also researched how Thai people gain some specific characteristics due to stories from the Ramayana. I also wanted to learn how the Ramayana has impacted the relationship between women and men. After doing some research on these topics, I realized that the Ramayana is an incredibly interpretable piece of literature and began to learn that thousands of books have been written explaining aspects of the Ramayana. Eventually, I developed my overall essential question: how has literature changed and influenced Thai culture throughout time, and three subcategories. How has the Ramayana shaped youth characteristics? How does the Ramayana show the roles of women and family life in Thai culture? And what are some different interpretations of the Ramayana? The Ramayana is a story that is thought to have been known to the Thai since at least the 13th century. Various new versions of the story have been composed, often by royal authors, since the 16th and 17th centuries. However, large numbers of Thai manuscripts were lost with the destruction of Ayutthaya in 1767, and the Ramayana known today was compiled only between 1785 and 1807 under the supervision of King Rama I. The famous reliefs depicting about 150 scenes from the Ramayana at Wat Phra in Bangkok date back to the early 19th century. Manuscripts and mural paintings showing scenes from the Ramayana are particularly famous for their illustrations of the monkey armies. Best known are the mural paintings at the Royal Temple Wat Phra Kaew in Bangkok. In King Rama I's version of the Ramayana, all names, places, traditions, and flora and fauna were adapted to a Thai context. The Ramayana tells about life in India around 1000 BC and offers models in Dharma. The hero Rama lived his whole life by the rules of Dharma. In fact, that is why Thais consider him heroic. When Rama was a young boy, he was the perfect son. Later, he was an ideal husband to his faithful wife Sita and a responsible ruler of Ayutthaya. Be as Rama, young Thais have been taught for 2,000 years. Be as Sita. Prince Rama was the eldest of 4 sons and was to become king when his father retired from ruling. His stepmother, however, wanted to see her son Bharata, Rama's younger brother, become king. Remembering that the king had once promised to grant her any 2 wishes she desired, she demanded that Rama be banished and Bharata be crowned. The king had to keep his word to his wife and ordered Rama's banishment. Rama accepted the decree unquestioningly. "I gladly obey father's command," he said to his stepmother. "Why, I would even go if you ordered it." When Sita, Rama's wife, heard Rama was to be banished, she begged to accompany him to his forest retreat. "As shadow to substance, so wife to husband," she reminded Rama. "Is it not the wife's dharma to be at her husband's side? Let me walk ahead of you so that I may smooth the path for your feet," she pleaded. Rama agreed, and Rama, Sita, and his brother Lakshman all went to the forest. Later in the story, Ravana, the evil king of Lanka, abducted Sita. Rama mustered the aid of a monkey army, and the monkey leader Hanuman built a causeway across Lanka, fought Ravana, released Sita, and brought her back safely to Ayutthaya. In order to set a good example, however, Rama demanded that Sita prove her purity before he could take her back as his wife. Even after she proved her purity, Rama still exiled her for the betterment of his reign. Sita gave birth to Rama's twins in the forest and was eventually found by Rama and brought back to Ayutthaya. Rama, Sita, and Bharata are all examples of persons following their dharma. There are a colossal amount of stories and lessons to be learned from the Ramayana. Thai children are taught many values and virtues from these stories. All tales from this piece of literature go towards helping to teach children to follow their dharma. Many simplified versions of the Ramayana are made into children's stories in order to install the practice of following one's dharma at an early age. Dharma signifies behaviors that are considered to be in accord with what is right, the order that makes life and universe possible, and includes duties, rights, laws, conduct, virtues, and correct ways of living. Although there is far too many stories for me to share from all of the Ramayana, I did gather a few specifically to show how the Ramayana installs characteristics into the youth of Thailand. A main characteristic of ties that gets installed within the children through the Ramayana is the treatment towards parents. Rama's insistence on keeping the promise made by his father also shows the deep love and devotion that he had for his parents. He willingly chose to spend 14 years in exile in a forest to protect his father's much respect and honor. Such was the regard he paid to his father. Dasartha loved his child so deeply that when Rama left the forest, he could not bear the thought of being away from his son for 14 years and breathe his last breath. This demonstrates the love and respect Rama had for his parents. He listened to every command his parents made. He honored their promises and ensured that no one could accuse them of being unfair. He did not go against his parents' wishes, even though being passed over for the throne was unfair to the firstborn son of the ruler of a mighty kingdom. He obeyed his parents and is immortalized for doing so. It also showcases the love parents have for their children. There are many ways that this story contributes to the characterization of Thai youth. A younger person shall respect the older person in Thai culture. When Thai children write letters to their parents, they often begin their letter with the words, "Mother or Father that I respect." Thai children used to live not far from their parents. A big part of the wages should be given to parents. Now, as things are changing with the industrialization of Thailand, a lot of young Thai people go to Bangkok to take their chance. Nevertheless, they almost always continue to send money back to support their parents. There's never much of a thought about putting elderly people in a home, or having someone else take care of their parents. It's just a given that elderly parents will be taken care of by their children, and their children won't even feel remotely inconvenienced by it. This is a large part of following one's dharma of being a son or daughter. Even though some aspects of the child-parent relationship are changing in Thailand, it is deemed that since your parents took care of you growing up, you are responsible to take care of them. These ideals come from and are reinforced by Rama's obedient and respectful relationship with his father, and the desire to follow one's dharma of being a good daughter or son. An additional characteristic that Thai children acquire from the Ramayana is the idea of getting along with and respecting your siblings. Many people focus on the love the brothers had for each other when teaching their children about the Ramayana. Why did Lakshman, who was used to all the worldly luxuries due to a prince, decide to give all that up voluntarily to live with his elder brother for 14 years of hardship in a forest? Because he loved his brother and could not bear the thought of having to live 14 years without him. The Ramayana encourages children not only to spend time with their siblings, but also to stand up for each other and be there for each other when required. This relates to following their dharma of being a good sibling. Such deep affection can be cultivated only when parents encourage such growth and keep emphasizing the importance of love among siblings that is reinforced by the Ramayana. Children can grow a deep connection with their siblings in Thailand, not just of love, but of respect for one another. They are taught through the stories of Lakshman and Rama just how a sibling relationship ought to be. Many Thai children realize that it is their duty to have a good relationship with their siblings because being a good member of the family is part of their dharma. After researching the Ramayana's impact on children for a while, I began to transition to the people who raised the children. How has the Ramayana showed who a woman should be, and how has this affected Thai culture? Sita symbolizes the meaning of an ideal woman filled with loyalty for her husband. The meaning of her name is furrow, that symbolizes the place where she was found by her father. When we hear of Sita, the first thing that strikes us is her unconditional bond of love with Lord Rama. In the face of extreme hardship, Lord Rama's queen displays extraordinary character, founded on her pure devotion to the Lord. Rama had to pass Shiva's test of lifting and breaking a heavy bow to win the right to marry Sita. Rama is the incarnation of Lord Vishnu, while Sita is the incarnation of goddess Lakshmi. Hence, they were born to be together, connected by a string of eternal love. Sita embodies the character of an ideal woman to an ideal man, containing the right thoughts and actions. In the past, a Thai woman had to take care of her husband and be totally obedient to him in order to follow her dharma. Most men in high society had several wives, the number of whom was considered an indicator of the husband's socioeconomic status. An edict promulgated in 1861 stipulated that men had the right to have several wives. No matter whether women were born in high or low society, they all had a lower status than men. On the other hand, ordinary women had to do house chores and work in the fields, since men at the time were required to leave home either to do labor or guard the capital for about 4 to 6 months a year. Thus, when the husbands were out, their wives had to bear the burden of earning a living. They also had to do farming, weave cloth for their family members, and look for some odd jobs to gain some income. All of these actions were reinforced by Sita's devotion to Rama. In Thailand today, women go to work like men, and many are promoted the leaders in organizations. Many of them are more self-confident in the working world, but at the same time do not neglect their expected duties of taking care of their families and doing household chores. A new and revised version of Sita, controlling her own fate and making her own decisions, has been adapted by many Thai women. They still follow their dharma in taking care of their families, but also be a Sita and take control over their lives. Upon learning about the effect of the Ramayana in Thai culture, ethics, and characteristics, I learned that many authors have devoted their time to writing books about a new look on the Ramayana. Thousands of people have created new works of literature about the Ramayana. Here are some of the books and novels I've researched and gathered that have had the epic saga narrated through the eyes of another significant character, and give you an insight into their parallel lives with different perspectives on the same legend. These books are important because they have produced a change in thinking in the eyes of many Thai people. The first book I found was Asura. The epic tale of the Ramayana has been told in innumerable times. As in the pages of history, it seems only the version of the victors live on. But what about the voice of the vanquished, which continues to remain silent? The novel tries to repaint the tale through the demon king Ravana and his people's perspective. One gets to witness a tale of a mighty king who was wronged in the eyes of his countrymen. Crafted intelligently, this novel by Anand Naklatan has made people rethink the tale, as one has been told through the ages. People began to questioning the burning of Lanka by Hanuman and the treatments of Lanka's people, painting Ravana in a new light. Another important piece of literature is Sita's Ramayana. This book has been incredibly influential in changing the way that women think. The novel shifts the point of view of the timeless epic from its male protagonist Rama to his wife Sita. Narrated by the queen, the plot is a strong rumination on the fate of women, who invariably become pawns in the wars between men and kingdoms. Refusing to be just a patient victim of events, Sita faces her fate with a fortitude and remains steadfast until the moment she decides to challenge it. Sita's Ramayana was written by Samhiti Arni and accompanied by brilliant illustrations by Patao scroll artist Moinya Chikratar. As mentioned before, this book has changed the way that many Thai women view the Ramayana from the past. Women take it upon themselves to be a Sita and control their own fate. A final novel that really brings in a side character's point of view is Lanka's Princess. Surpanaka, Ravana's famous sister, often deemed as the perpetrator of the bloody war, has always been perceived as ugly and untamed. More hated than the hateful, this novel dwells deeper into the life of the most misunderstood character in the Ramayana and tries to decipher her course of actions that eventually accumulated into a bloody war and the death of her entire family. Written by Kavita Kane, Lanka's Princess unfolds the familiar set of events from the eyes of a woman who grew up in the shadows of her brothers and ended up chalking a path filled with misery and revenge. The story shows that with modern time, Thai people are begging to recognize the less famous characters and dive into understanding them. This in turn helps Thai culture realize who they want to be and who they don't want to be, recognizing how and why they can follow their dharma in a better sense. In the end, I have learned so much about the Ramayana and how it influences Thai culture. Also, how its interpretation has changed throughout time. If I had more time, I would like to dive deeper into how the Ramayana has affected the king's decisions in history, as well as see how some of the side character stories play into Thai culture. The Thai culture will continue to be impacted by the story, and now I hope you all have some more insight as to how and why.